But going back to the acronym that I shared before about fear, F-E-A-R, false expectations appearing real. The majority of things that we fear just don't happen. So Mark, you were fearing rejection, and we all do. I don't know if you all remember the Sally Fields Emmy Award when I believe it was an Emmy or a Grammy. I don't know about all that stuff. But she said, "Oh, you like me. You really, really like me." If maybe I'm dating myself. I don't know if look it up. Google it. You'll find it.
Okay.
But to the point, we all want to be liked. We all want to be. We want that affirmation that we're
it's only
being
natural,
accepted.
right?
Exactly. That's who we are as humans. So at times, if you are going to swing for the fences, and Mark, you believe that based on you flicking back to other people rejecting you for whatever reason, you were flicking back in your emotional history to when you were being rejected and flicking up those feelings, those emotions, saying, my gosh, it might happen again. And all this happens in nanoseconds. But both you and I wear this little rubber band that we got to snap ourselves out of it. There it is.
Dig
Beautiful.
mine out. There it is.
Beautiful. The pattern interrupt, negative self-talk. We got to snap ourselves out of it, because we've got to do what Mark's did. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, blast off, because we must live on that growth edge. The only way to grow is to stretch ourselves. Talk about rubber bands. Stretch ourselves in that discomfort zone. We got to become comfortable with discomfort, because that's where growth will occur. We got to grow through what we're going through. It's called cognitive dissonance. And that's what Mark did. And I'm telling you, reticular activating system's connected. He comes up, he asked me that question. Your vibe was just cool. I mean, you smiled big, and you were the caregiver that you were, and that you put yourself out there to be. Your caregiving spirit manifested without communicating. You smiled, you were welcoming, and why in the hell wouldn't I spend time with the like-minded soul giving hope to others? And I said yes and I'm just sharing this more detailed version for the audience, so you all embrace the notion that you are enough. You are enough. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, blast off. And then what Mark will be able to do is flick back to that energy, that moment at the big conference, saying, I've done this before, I can do it again. So you flick back and you flick up, and then you execute, and that's going to be re-habitualized or newly habitualized behavior. And you're going to neutralize the negativity of the past, because you're going to get more people like me smiling big and say not only, yeah, I'm in, but God, let's do it. Let's go. Let's roll. Let's roll now. Where's the camera? Let's go. Back to you.
No. And I didn't pack the cameras for that trip, but I do. You said, I truly do appreciate your enthusiasm and once again, joining us today. So without taking the chance, right? I mean, you can't expect, you can't expect to, how do you say this? Mark, you never would have came on the podcast otherwise. You weren't calling Mark, I heard we got this podcast, I want to be on it. You weren't knocking on my door, right? It was like I had to go after it. And I know, like I said, anything in life, right? Brother, it goes, you have to push yourself outside the cup, and you got to just do it, right? You got to take that chance.
Absolutely. And I don't know if it's basketball. I think it's basketball. I'm not going to say it's Michael Jordan, but every shot you don't take, you're going to miss. Now that sounds like a Yogi Berra-ism, but if you don't take the shot, you're going to miss it.
Yeah, I believe that's Wayne Gretzky in hockey. Is that reference? I'm pretty sure.
Okay, touche. There we go. I knew it tied to athletics somehow, some way.
You miss 100% of the shots you don't take.
That's it. Thank you. There you go. That's even better. That is the saying. Thank you.
No, I mean, but a lot of things we just stop and you get out of that headspace you're in, whatever that thing is, right? And say, stop, take the chance, right? You can't score unless you try to shoot.
Touche.
So, no, right on. No, thank you. You're taking me back to the moment and time when in that session and coming up and talking to you. So, when you talk about, you mentioned blind spots in the past. You talked about blind spots, and can you talk to us more about the importance of eliminating those blind spots when it comes to resistance and mindset?
Yes, certainly. That's a 3-hour workshop.
So a 3-hour workshop. Oh my goodness!
Buckle in, buckle up. So there's something that is actually a phenomenon that happens in our thinking process. It's called scotoma, a scotoma moment. And that is a cognitive blocking out of something that's right in front of you, something that's hidden in plain sight. For the audience's benefit, I'll just use glasses as an example for those of you that wear glasses. Where are my glasses? Where are my glasses? You walk by a reflection in a mirror, they've been on your head the whole time. Or, where are my car keys? Where are my car keys, especially nowadays with the fob? Well, they've been in the center console the whole time, or they're in your pocket, or they're in your hand. Mm-hmm. But it's something that is right in front of you. You just can't see it. So that's natural. So we need to always practice appreciative inquiry, asking ourselves, am I seeing everything that needs to be seen? Do I have all of the intel that I need? Now, going back to my funeral service story, the organizational psychologist, Dr. Joe Pace, that came into our funeral home grief recovery program from the Pacific Institute actually taught us about scotomas. And he put us through a scotoma exercise, and I failed. Man,
really?
And you went through that. Oh, yes, sir. But that was my life-changing moment. That was the moment that straightened my spine, because I was the boss, applesauce. My name was on the building. I had the cars and the watches and all the artifacts to prove it. I signed both the front and the back of the checks. That means you're the boss, applesauce, all that. But I got the wrong answer in the scotoma exercise. But there were people around me that got the right answer. And it's not a test in IQ. It's a test in perception. Are you seeing all that's out there to be seen? Now, you stepped through that exercise with me in our events. What's interesting is that it works every time, because we all don't see the same thing because of these cognitive blockages, if you will, in our line of sight from seeing to perceiving and then believing. I'm going back to the belief thing in a moment. Mm-hmm. So it's vitally important to realize that we all have scotomas. Problem is, we just don't know where they are. Okay. But where we typically have scotomas and where they can be uncovered, where we can be scotoma busters for one another, is to look in the crevices or around the corner where you're working really, really hard and you're just not creating breakthrough. It's like the same thing over and over again. What is it? Einstein, help me. Doing the same thing over and over again is the definition. Expecting a different result is insanity.
Insanity.
Definition of insanity, right? Yeah. So where are you doing the same thing over and over again, and you're just getting the same result, and you think that you should create breakthrough, or where you really believe you could be superlative, where you want to go from good to greater, great to greater, but you're just missing that oregano, that secret sauce, that little added pixie dust, if you will. So that's where you usually have scotoma moments, and oftentimes you can't see them on your own. So you want to use an advisor or a coach, or ask your significant other, or just ask yourself, get reflective. What might I be missing? Because therein lies limiting beliefs. Because you're going back in your emotional history toolbox, and you're using the same logic that you've used in the past, whether it served you there properly or not, and flicking up, as I mentioned before, into your current reality, and using that same logic, making a decision, but expecting something different. So the intention is to go from those limiting beliefs. Where do I have my limiting beliefs? And then go through this process to basically hack your mind and affirm a liberating belief. And that is, no, I can't find this answer because I've done it once before. I just need to stretch myself a bit more and look in places that I haven't looked. I need to look to a coach. I need to be more innovative. I need to be more open to opportunity, possibility thinking. Now, again, this sounds conceptual, but we make it we translate mindset into a skill set. There's exercises that you can go through, and you began some of those with me in the workshop, Mark, to translate limiting beliefs, because you want to go to those places that are causing you to lose sleep at night. Mm-hmm. What's keeping me up at night? Business problems, family problems, because that's where most of your limiting beliefs lie, where your scotomas lie, where your blind spots lie. And in turn, you want to look to the replacement picture like I did with my funeral service career. I want more than what I'm experiencing. Is it going to be easy to get there? No, but you got to stretch yourself with a clear understanding of where you want to go. And that's where your liberating beliefs will not only be uncovered, but will release you, will unleash you, and over in an incremental amount of time, like it did with me with the Pacific Institute, starting as a commission-based only sales guy to now being the CEO of the organization. I just kept running towards the roar because I wanted it. I like it. I love it. I want more. I want to bathe in this. That's how we go from blind spots and limiting beliefs to liberating ones and achieving our goals that we thought were never achievable in the past.
So when you talk about the beliefs and beliefs deriving performance and limiting beliefs, can you walk me through maybe one of those specific strategies that you use to help individuals and teams and change those limiting beliefs?
Absolutely. I use this often in my presentations because it's just owned by all of us. And a limiting belief is, ready?
Yes.
Drum roll. If I want it done right, I need to do it myself.
Yep.
Guilty as charged.
Yep.
Right?
Way too often.
Exactly.
Yeah, I tell myself that, right? Or it's easier just to do it yourself than deal with whatever comes out of that, or the things you have to fix or
many
monitor.
Permutations. Permutations, iterations, evolutions of the same concept.
Yeah.
If I want it done right, I need to do it myself. Okay. Whether you're leading your family, let me back up because with kids, I've got 3 of them. So it's like, man, gosh, I know as a parent I've said that, but no, we need to nurture our children so they can be self-sufficient. So it's not like an entitlement program. Dad's going to do it for you. No, whether you're leading your family or leading an organization of 10,000 strong, we all suffer from that limiting belief. If I need to do it right, okay, well, I'm going to ask you all to consider that you are the head coach for your family, for your team. What does a head coach do? Puts together the game plan and coaches others up, the players up, to an ability to go and execute the game plan. The coach doesn't get out there and play the game, right?
Right.
So whether we are literal head coaches in that vein or psychologically oriented, metaphorically speaking, head coach, believing in others and the flip of, if I need to do it right, I need to do it myself, with the positive affirmation or the limiting belief, the mind hack is, I am a great head coach and my people are good enough because I'm good enough to lead them to doing it themselves, doing it successfully, and celebrating the success once we've arrived. So it is, even if it doesn't exist, it is, no, my people are good enough because I'm good enough to get them there. No, and if I'm a leader, I got to impact change in a way that I'm leading them to do the very things that I'm doing now, because me doing all working in the company limits me from working on the company, and that's not the strategic position that I must fill for the organization, nor do I want that. So it's these very things that we want to embrace, but we're stuck in these limiting beliefs. So we want to go from, if I need to do it right, I need to do it myself, to no, I am an able head coach. My people are good enough. And because I'm good enough, they're good enough to get the job done that I've been doing through time and memoriam. So it's now time for them to do that job because I'm good enough, and it's proving to me that they're good enough.
Do you find the limiting belief, you talk about, what be the most common limiting belief that you see in your profession, but do you see that limiting belief, does it repeat itself regardless of the level of leader you're working with, whether it's a small business owner or if it's a Fortune 1000 or whatever type of company? Do you find the same common limiting belief?
Yes, and there are others, but I wanna touch on what you scratch the itch of, and that is, do you find it all the time? And I wanna sort of extrapolate, big word, but I want to build a bridge to how long does it have to last?
Okay.
Well, it only has to last as long as you're going to tolerate it. And this comes out of James Clear and Atomic Habits.
Oh, great. Yeah.
Because mindset is the collection of our habits, attitudes, beliefs, and expectations. But beliefs are the driver of the others. If you have a belief that you can set a goal and achieve it, you're going to create habits to prove that to be true. And so you need to create cues. This is Clear's work, James Clear. You need to create cues, that are data points for you to rehabitualize your very thinking. So that is one cue. Who is the highest performer on your team, whether it's in a family or in a group of 10,000 employees? It's 10,000 on the org chart. Mm-hmm. Who is the highest performer? I'm going to go and I'm going to solicit and elicit the best out of the performer. So I'm not going to do this task any longer, and I'm going to coach this person up to do this task, and I'm going to liberate myself. That's data point number one. We're going to make sure that person does what they are now under my charge to do, and get her done, execute in a way that I expect. And we're going to celebrate that success because that's one data point.
Okay.
And then we're going to trade on that data point and go do it with another, because 2 data points starts a regression line. 2 data points starts a new habit. 3 data points, 4 data points, we've got to habitualize the new belief. But the only way you can do that is to go and make it tangible. So you can't just sit there and wish in a thought bubble, oh, my team is good enough. You got to go execute. You got to go do it. Awareness is the first step in recovery. No, I've got that pathology. I believe that I'm the only one who can do it right. Well, geez, man, that's not going to be able to help me scale my organization. How am I going to get the other people to do it right? Well, I'm going to believe that they have the ability to. If not, they shouldn't be in your organization. You onboarded the wrong people.
Right.
So you want to go create data points that prove to you that my people are good enough because I'm good enough in bringing the best out to them, so they tap into their own potential to drive greater performance. And those data points, those new incremental shifts, those 1% shifts, little moves will create exponential results. Back to you. Did that help with your question?
Yeah, definitely. And as it can, in things, thoughts come to mind at different words that you mentioned, and it might go on, oh, what about asking this? So you mentioned about mindset, and we talk about shifting of that. And you mentioned earlier, I got very uncomfortable and outside my comfort zone by walking up and asking you in the podcast, right? So what is your belief on shifting your mindset? Does that require stepping outside your comfort zone to do so?
Always,
without a doubt.
I didn't hesitate.
Yeah. And how do you get individuals, be it leaders or anyone that you're speaking to or working with in workshops? As humans, we tend to get stuck in our ways, right? We get stuck in our thoughts. We get stuck in the way that things are, the way things have been. How do you teach, or how do you get these individuals to accept that there's change can happen with them, right? They don't have to be stuck in their mindset, stuck in their ways, and to embrace that change so they can shift their mindset.
Right. Before, and I'm gonna ask you to repeat the second half of that question first, but I must go back to, do you have to stretch yourself out of your comfort zone for a mindset shift? And without equivocation, I said always. I want to share with the listening audience that if you are good with exactly where you are, you don't have to do a darn thing. You have to do a darn thing. You can stay where you are. If your state of goodness is good enough, then stay there. I'm trading on the same word to make an emphatic point.
Okay.
But there's too many of us that believe that use this is good enough as an excuse for a state of stuckness instead of a state of goodness. Mm-hmm. So stuckness is being in a comfort zone that isn't good enough, that is not good enough. whether that's personal or professional or spiritual. There's a point where it's just not good enough any longer, especially because we've got this extraordinary amount of potential and we only use a small amount of it for our throughput. Why? Because we've got our comfort zone standing in the way. We've got our habits, attitudes, beliefs standing in the way. So who is to judge that it's good enough? Well, maybe you are your sole judge, but then are you good enough when it comes to giving back to humanity, doing good for others? Are you good enough in the gratitude category to be more grateful, and manifesting that through other acts of kindness? Are you good enough based on the impact that you're having on others, whether in your family or in your place of work? Are you good enough on your own stuff based on your own standards or on the standards of your impact on the world? Are you leaving it better than you found it? And I'm going to challenge all of you that well, maybe that is just that it should be provocative enough to say, okay, really, I'm not good enough. That doesn't mean, though, that you shouldn't take a knee as you do in sports if you're fatigued to do a timeout. You don't have to keep on this gerbil wheel. Oh my God, I got to keep growing and learning. I'm fatigued, especially after COVID. People are fatigued. I got it. Mm-hmm. But I'm going to challenge on that whole good enough thing, because if you are looking for a replacement picture, you must stretch yourself out of your comfort zone. It's cognitive dissonance. Systems seek order. The only way you're going to achieve at a higher level of order is to throw yourself out of order. And if you don't keep that dissonance on, that pressure on, if you don't keep the pressure up, you're going to shrink back down.
Hi, I'm Mark Thomas, founder and CEO of Current Tech Solutions and Cyber Guardians. If you or someone you know could benefit from our cutting-edge IT and cybersecurity services, we'd love to help. Our expertise in securing your business with AI precision ensures that you're protected and empowered to thrive. Reach out to us today to learn how we can secure and elevate your business.